out here.
Hi, my name is Carlos. I travel, I tattoo, and I take it all in. One country at a time, one tattoo at a time. Travel is what inspires me. Tattooing is what guides me. This is how I interpret the world. This is the global canvas.
What up, what up, what up? How's it going? Two streams in one day. Who am I? Welcome back. I wanted to experiment with a new setup today. You can see how my camera's a little bit different. You can see how my palette is different. You can see how chat right here is a little bit different. What I wanted to do was create a way where I could do stuff a little bit more efficiently. I'm always looking for that, of course. But I want to find a way where I could do stuff a little bit more efficiently, but also have a steadier hand, because I seem to get like really jittery. I drink a lot of milligrams of caffeine per day, so that's probably why. But what I did is, instead of having my panel up on an easel, I reorganized my streaming room and have it directly flat down on a desktop here. So I can come in, I just put my hand in tattooing position. It's funny. Sure. So I can stretch the skin and remove the tattoo machine. No, so I can come in with a top-down approach, and I feel like that'll give me a better stream overall. So that's what I'm hoping for. I want to do this. Cool. So yeah, so I wanted to be able to have a more top-down approach, and you can see I got my palette all cleaned up finally, so that's nice. What I want to do today is start working on introducing the city into this painting. Right now we have the alley and we have our ballerina, but we got this whole area back here that has nothing going on. Now, originally the idea was just keep it blurred out so that the foreground has more sharpness if the background has more blurriness, which is true, but that doesn't mean it has to be bland to the point of non-existent. Like, it can have a background, we just want to keep it out of focus. So I did a quick mock-up on my phone of what that background may or may not end up looking like, and we're going to give that a shot and see if we can make that work today. I can't tell if my chat is up to date or not, because it's showing from a previous session chat. So I hope that's running right. You see it? Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to see if I can go to Stream Elements and see if everything's going okay. It looks like it's good. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I got it reset is what happened. All right, I reset the chat. So we should be good now. Okay, so getting back at it. So I want to have some more cool tones back here so that these warm tones pop forward more. All of these guys. So we're going to work on making this a neon city to go with our neon alley. In order to do that, I'm going to have to pour out some colors over here. So give me a second to get my palette pulled up. Wow. Got a big old tray full of oil paints here. But I'm definitely going to need some French ultramarine blue. Up here. Definitely going to need, I should pour out my entire palette, but let's do something fun. Let's do a closed palette today. A closed palette being, fewer colors out so fewer colors are available. Normally I use a full palette, full to me, all the tones that I own, that I purchased specifically for doing this painting. I have those here, and I normally pour them all out, but for tonight's session, I'm just gonna do a few. So I got my French ultramarine blue, my plum gray, which is like a violet. I just poured out alizarin crimson. I would like a little bit of cad orange. Sorry for the loud sound effects. Just a little bit of cadmium orange. I'll do the slightest amount of Naples yellow light. I'm gonna do a tiny amount of titanium white. And as I'm pouring all these out, it's gonna end up being my full palette, right? No, this should be good. So if I want to create a cool cityscape in the background, I'm going to need some blues, some purples, and I have my alizarin crimson, my French ultramarine blue already there, so I can mix any kind of purple I need from there. I'll need something to knock down the value. If you mix purple and yellow, or maybe I could just use my orange and my Naples yellow, so that I can knock down values with. I'm gonna do a little bit of raw umber just in case I back myself into a corner. Cool? Sound good? Sound good. Okay. And then that'll be it. Rather limited palette for this background tonight. I should pour out a little bit of liquid for my mixing medium. Got just the oil base there. Do this again. Mop that up before it spreads too wide. Get my actual gel medium. Attaboy. There we go. Okay, now we're in business. Alrighty. Also, this new configuration I'm trying out today gives me the opportunity to put a little bit more light on our surface, which has been an ongoing issue from get-go, but especially since we made this a dark scene instead of a daytime scene. Now that it is a nighttime scene, we get to do fun things like create a nighttime skyline. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use just some bigger brushes, filbert brushes, because I don't want any hard edges on anything. And I need to mix up a couple piles of paint here. I want it to be slightly desaturated, and I want to have like a base background tone to go with. So here I have like a violet blue going on. Maybe I'll do just a pile over here of just a light blue. Yeah, it looks good, like a periwinkle. And let's just start putting it in. Shall we? We shall. Scrape a little bit of excess off here. Okay, so like I said, I put together a really rough, fast sketch on my phone of what this may or may not end up looking like. It's garbage, so I'm not even going to pull it up on camera right now. I'm just going to start blocking in, and then we'll create a world from there. And it's going to be really nice having ourselves some cool tones in the background to set up these warm tones in the foreground. If you've taken any art classes throughout your life, I'm sure you've heard plenty of teachers tell you that warm colors come forward and cool colors recede. And while that is true in some elements, not all, there's exceptions to every rule, of course. but I feel like this is going to make a huge difference on our painting. I'm going to bring back the lighting on my stream for just a second. I know I had it super dialed in earlier. I just don't want this to look incorrect on camera. That's all. Change the temperature of our light just a little bit. All right, well, this blue on cam is showing up a little bit more vibrant and more like true blue than what I have in front of me, which is closer to these tones here. It's just a little camera thing, so that's all right. Deal with that later. All right, let's get back in. So just like before, I'm gonna just kind of block in shapes, and then from there we will adjust things as we go and refine, refine, refine. I hope everybody's having a nice Monday. I got to stream earlier, which made me happy. Got to eat some food, which was supposed to make me happy, but it was one of those meals where like you finish it and you're like, I just want to do something now. So I'm doing something now. Just having fun, dropping in some blue paint, no big deal. Just a dude living his dream, dropping in blue paint, and the what have ya. Pull those lines a little closer towards my perspective. I'm excited for this, to see where this takes us. I've always, and I never mentioned it on stream, but I always wanted to have some cars driving back here because like that's the street across the street, you know? So this whole time that we've been painting, I've been looking at this thinking like, oh, I need to get something back here. I need to get something back here. But now knowing that I can do a full-fledged like New York City back here, it's very intriguing, very enticing. I'm looking forward to my buddy Tyree getting me some new background audio beats too. That's gonna be nice. This is like listing upwards. I gotta make sure I'm parallel here. It's better. It's so much easier to keep a steady hand when I'm working straight down. This is how I tattoo as well. If I'm working on like the side of a deltoid, I have to sit up with my hands vertical like I'm working on an easel. But for every other tattoo, I try to lay people down so I have a top-down approach. Really helps my control, and then it also helps my speed, you know, and my ability, my proficiencies. All right, so where's the edge? We kind of lost it moving back here where the edge of this building is. Let me grab a piece of tape here. We'll figure it out as a team. So, street, I think, terminates like right about there. Like so. So I'll leave this here. I'm not gonna like need to ride off of it or anything like that to keep a sharp edge, because this edge is gonna be blurred out in the background. But at least that gives me an idea of where my street is. It's gonna be nice also to bring some new colors into this painting. You know, this gives us lots of opportunity for color interplay. These oranges are going to pop a whole lot harsher and further once it's nearby some purples, so to speak. And I'm kind of just making up some variable tones here. Here's some purple, here's some periwinkle, we'll have some brighter lights that are diffused. Just kind of creating a suggestion of a city in the background, of a nighttime that's going to be nice and lit up. I want to make a brighter blue, almost like a cerulean oh man, I should have poured. See, this is going to very quickly turn into a full palette, I can already tell, because I want to have like a much brighter greenish blue back here, and that's going to work better with pouring out some phthalo green. But maybe I'll come back to those tones, because that phthalo green can be a tricky beast. Warm this up over here, create a slightly darker pile. I do need it to be a little bit more neutralized, because this is going to be back here by street level. Yeah, after all the videos, we're 25 hours into this series. After all the videos, after all the experimentation, I think I may have found a setup that I like. Go figure, this stuff takes time, huh? But this top-down approach is going to be a lot easier for me to do what it is I'm trying to do. I love painting. So again, I'll say it a million times just to keep narrating this stuff for you. There's no real plan of what's happening back here. I just know that it's going to be lit up like Times Square. And the interplay that I get to build now with the cool tones in the background, the warm tones in the foreground, I also get to do that in the background itself. I can have interplay of warm and cool tones, which is going to be very exciting. I need to make up like a deeper purple, I think, to function in some buildings. If this is like skyscraper, if the street keeps going back this way, maybe this is an alleyway, but it picks up in the main downtown street that's running this way, and then if you were to go that way, the cars can turn up to that way, but this way is off limits, and that's just kind of why we have a cool little hip business over here. And it is a theater district after all, right? So that means they're gonna need to have their private sneak in, sneak out alleyway exit. I was in New York City a number of years ago, and my wife and I went and saw Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, and we hung out in the alley behind after the show was over so that we could try to catch any of the cast coming outside so we can get autographs, meet people. And we got to meet a young actress named Samantha Hill, who was playing Christine Daae in Phantom. She went on to play Cosette in Les Miserables on Broadway, and I don't know whatever happened with her after that. I follow a few theatrical performers on Instagram, so I get to see like what they're up to. We also saw a guy named Jay Johnston. There is a television actor named Jay Johnston. It's not this. That's not the same person. This is a different person. But we got to see Jay Johnston go on. He was Raoul in Phantom, the version that we saw, and we got to see him go on to be Bette Midler's character from Hocus Pocus in the Broadway version of Hocus Pocus. That was pretty cool. I mean, it's been cool to follow his progression on Instagram. We didn't get to see that live, unfortunately. He's still doing it, though. He was the actor who told me there's still time if I want to learn, if I want to become the Phantom. And I looked at him, I was like, dude, look at me. At the time, I was in my mid-30s, but I was like, I'm in my 30s, and I weigh 220 pounds. It's not going to happen. Plus, I need to learn how to sing professionally. And even though I enjoy singing, a pro I am not. All right. So I need to mix up a slightly darker pile. And I'm going to do it with my special sauce, which is alizarin crimson, French ultramarine blue, and raw umber. It creates this nice dark tone that's warm, not black by any means, but nice warm dark tone. And I'm going to use that to build a couple layers of skyscrapers. And the idea of this blue sky is this is going to be a lot of like neon lit street, not like it's a blue sky like a dusk turning, the blue of the day turning into dusk or anything like that. It's just going to be some neons. And I think I'll pour out some of the same magenta as well to pick up some more tones for the background here. I think I can get some neat, I shouldn't say cool because that's an art term, right? But I should be able to get some neat effects with the warm pops of neons in the background. It's so fun. So fun! That was kind of satisfying, eh? So yeah, I think I should pop out my phthalo green, and I should pop out that magenta. See if I can make some interesting colors with those. So let's do that. Shall we? We shall. Back to my gigantic pile of paint here. And I'm gonna put phthalo up in this corner, up near my titanium white. I want to keep the Roy G. Biv going. It's easier for me to look at the palette and to figure out where things go if I have some kind of a system for it. This magenta violet I'm going to toss over here. Normally it would be over here near my alizarin crimson, but I just don't have enough space for it right there. And that's okay because I'm using this as a little pop color. I'm not going to need to worry too much about finding it to dip in. And minimizing any of that time of like, where's my paint? Like those tiny little amounts of time add up, and it makes it interrupts the speed of thought for real. So it is fun to not have to think about what is where. Having said that, if I'm gonna make a little pile of like a more minty blue, should probably do it near the tones I'm using to mix with, eh? That's cool. It's nice mermaidy. The focuses are not nice mermaidy type color. And we could toss some of this over here. Put some lights and some buildings here. Up a little bit, make it a little bit bluer. I like it. I like it a lot. While keeping a dirty brush, I'm gonna dip in and start blending some tones here, and I just want to see what comes out. You know, like what kind of tones will my brush put together if I keep it dirty and mix from one color to another color? Because a lot of this is just going to be blurred out background, right? So this is a good place to experiment. Fun. Enjoying it. Enjoying these weird colors. It's not time to blend yet, so let's keep filling in. Let's try to chunk in all of these open space before even bringing out the first blending brush. Sound good? Sound good. All right. Let's use a little bit of white with this magenta. Maybe a little alizarin crimson to make sure this is popping. It's a nice violet look, not really a bright magenta though. I want pink. I'm gonna need to mix alizarin crimson and white. Let me make a pile of that over here first and see what we can get out of that. Yeah, that's much better. And I can dab into this magenta, pull it off over here to push the color down that way a little bit. Nice. Okay. Now we got like some real 1990s colors going on here. This is gonna be like a skyscraper back here. I'll put a little of this lighter tone on the edge, just to give it a little something when I blend. We'll put some nice warm lights in that building too. Yeah. Come back over here and drop in some more blues. Kind of build a little bit of a grid structure. Not much. We want to suggest it. We don't want to describe it. This is way in the background. A little bit of a grid structure will give us the illusion of some windows. That's why we did these here too. Man, I can't wait to put some warm lights down there. Gotta be a patient boy, right? Oh, hey Ma. My mom's in the chat. That's exciting. Nobody else is. Hi, Mom. It's just you and me right now. Hopefully the kid's doing good. It's a little extreme, a little bright for that tone. Let me dull that down. Put like a bright green light over here just to mix stuff up here. I don't really know if I have the capacity to make a super bright green out of this phthalo and this Naples yellow. Let's see what I can do. Oh, yeah, it is kind of bright. I like that. That's nice. That is nice. And this will just be like a neon sign that's glowing on the edge of one of these billboards. Cool. Go back to my main periwinkle blue tone because that's like my main dusk color I got going on here. We're just gonna try to fill out any remaining area that we have just to get it all blocked in, and then we can start blending some stuff together. It's okay if I overlap these stanchions a little bit on this balcony because we're going to have to come back and put it back in the top anyway since we're building up a background right now. I don't want to completely lose them tonight, but it is okay if they get a little obstructed. You always want to paint on top of paint anyway. All right. So I still need to fill in a couple spots here. I can't wait to start putting some soft blends and all this stuff. It's gonna be great. Pretty good. Gonna mix into a little bit of the special sauce over here because I need it to get dark down here by these flesh tones so that her body pops forward more. We don't want to lose that in the background. Yeah, it's helping separate it already. Let's get back to these fun, cool greenish tones. These like mermaid tones here, or 90s colors. It's really going to help sell the whole theme of the neon world that we're building right now, the nighttime neon world, by having a lot of these neon glow colors. And let's see, should we put one? Yeah, let's put one more skyscraper in here, and then we'll start plugging in. No, well, yeah. Skyscraper, I gotta fill in some background here, and then we'll start plugging in some windows and making this whole thing really sing. Just trying to keep it warm-ish it's a cool background, but I want to have like some more purpley tones for this building. I know right now it looks like, what are you even up to? I don't understand. 'Twill all make sense momentarily. And make up a nice light, like lighted background in the background light tone here. Something that's a little bit more vibrant. So we can have the appearance of just some brightly lit advertisement. What is it an advertisement for? I don't know. You tell me. Brighter orange is pretty dope. Yeah, now we're cooking. That's really gonna make it feel like we have ourselves a neon world back here. Nice. All right, we got to fill out a couple little spots here, and then I can start blending and detailing this little world that we're building. Also, by having some more cool tones back here, it'll pop the warmth of these lights, these tea lights that we added to Gladys's balcony. Nice. Got over 4,000 subscribers on our channel currently, but I have nobody in this video. Nobody on the chat. What gives? I feel like the truth of it is that subscriber count doesn't mean much. It means a lot, but let me rephrase that. That's not what I meant. I feel like the truth of it is, just because you have somebody that subscribes to you, they're not going to necessarily see your content. You got to get plugged into their algorithm before I'll start showing up within that algorithm. I would think, though, wouldn't it stand to reason, or wouldn't you think that if somebody recently subscribed to you, your stuff would pop up like immediately? to try to like remind you of that person you just subscribed to. Maybe so. I don't know. Just a thought. Getting a little closer to somewhere. That'd be a great name for a book, for like an autobiography or a biography in general. A little closer to somewhere. All right, let's start blending this stuff together, and then I can focus on some more of these cool, these warm lights that are in the background. These neat lights, I should say. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a soft blending brush and just kind of push and matte down to push paint into paint so we remove any harsh edges. That's my first step here. I'm gonna keep this good and blurry. Also, one of the other benefits of the new room setup that I have is you get to actually see the entire canvas panel. A lot of times stuff is like slightly off screen, but now here today you get to see every corner, full shebang. So this is good. I hope we found our method to stream here. I have a friend who's going to donate a light to help out with our lighting, so that's exciting. Since we don't have anybody really in the chat right now, move me over this way. That way you can see me a little bit better. I don't know if more of my face is a good thing or not. So again, just trying to blur out and soften up a lot of these tones. We don't want anything that's got like noticeable brush strokes in it, because then that's going to conflict with our foreground, which is more detailed stuff, which will have more brush strokes, more detail. Go figure. Nice. See how that pushes that light back there and makes it feel like it's part of a night sky? I can deal with that. Again, just pushing, pushing, pushing. I'm not painting, I'm just smashing. I'm the smashing machine. And then I'm gonna have to take care of an issue when I pull this tape off, but I'll show you guys what happens down there when I get to that part. This light over here, I'll be able to put that back in because we had to cover it with a new background. I'll be able to put that back in a subsequent session. I heard that there's like nationwide internet outages right now. wonder if that has anything to do with the lack of communication I've been getting on the internet today. Maybe. Still blurring out, right? Yep, you can see it. Still making a new world back here. If I pick up and move my canvas panel or my gesso board, you can see a little bit what's going on. So these tones back here, they're pretty fun. However, I feel like there's too much demarcation in there. It looks too stark, so we're gonna have to tune those. And maybe I'll just put some more signage in the robe. That might be a good way of going about it. It does get a little bit light, too bright down here. So that's all right, we'll take care of that. Now for these guys here, because I already dropped in some warm tone, I don't want to just go willy-nilly obliterating this part, because I'm going to want to be able to control how much blending happens between these warm and cool tones, because if you put them together, they're going to neutralize each other. It's just going to kind of gray out and get a little bit muddy. So I'll come in here with a softer, smaller mop brush to take care of blurring those out. So let's find a softer, smaller mop. Squeak. Oh, that's a good one. Very nice. I'm going to try to keep them within the range of themselves, the orangey, yellow, reds, without blurring too much into the stuff that's around it. Just so we kind of stay like so. Especially those reds and those greens next to each other, they're like complementary, right? They would totally gray out, turn into a desaturated tone if we were to mix those into each other, one into the other. So now we still, we got some kind of billboards back there. I don't like how far in the foreground they feel, because it's like they're growing out of her arm or something like that. So, I put them in really quick. Let's kill our darlings. Let's just take them out really quick. I can add more lights later, but let's get this blurry far background figured out first, and then we can add some more tones. I just don't like how much it looked like it was in the foreground with our main character here. Yeah, feels a little bit better. It's gonna feel a lot better when I have a bright highlight on her skin right here, which we don't have currently because we're just not there yet. But totally fine. Okay. So now that we've blurred those back out, I can see the background as a whole again. All right, so now we can start plugging in some brighter diffused light. We want to keep the lights in the background as diffused or blurred out as possible, kind of how this is, but if we took away the whiteness of the OPEN and the whiteness of the heart and it was just the glow, that's what I'm looking for all of the background lights across the street over here. And to do that, take some titanium white, and I should just kind of mix up a tone that's near what we're with already, right? So if I'm going to the periwinkle, I mix up a titanium white and periwinkle mix. If I'm near these mermaidy colors, I mix up something like that. So let's use this pile here and pull a little bit of periwinkle into it. So I can create a periwinkle highlight, a cool highlight, if you will. And I have just a piece of paper towel here that I'm wiping most of it off on, so that when I come back in, I don't get too much paint on the canvas. I'm just imagining in my head a bunch of light bulbs running up and around something back there. Let's put some windows into some of these skyscrapers. I think that's a cool idea. For that, I want to do something a little bit warmer. Maybe not nearly as bright as that fiery orange was over there, but somewhere close, you know? Let's see what I can do about this. Let's start with this skyscraper here. And people have mostly left for work for the night, but there's some people that are overachievers that stuck around. So we're gonna put a few, not many, but a few indications of some offices that are still open. Just warm lights at night. This is so much easier than when I was working vertically on the easel. Yeah, now our city's starting to come together. Nice, enjoyable. I don't know what I was thinking when I put these little lines here, because it's not like they're going across the street or anything like that. So maybe I should blur those out. Let me bring the sky down, like the darkness of the sky, down from the top middle maybe. See how that looks? Up some of that horizontal banding that was going on in there. Also, I want to come back and straighten this building out a little bit more because it's on a little bit of a funky angle. If I can get like a nice, I hate using these brights, but if I can get a brush with a really flat edge, I might be able to pull some indications of like some horizontal billboards. Let's see, let's give it a shot. See what I can do here. Beep, sorry, I'm busting my camera up with my paintbrush now. not too terrible, not too shabby. A little interplay back here. Now remember I was talking about how I want some cars driving past there, and I always did. After I put in a couple bright lights over here, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to figure that out. And I want it to be like a kind of, it's not rainy, but it's kind of like wet night. So maybe see some streaks of light as they're moving by and some reflections on the ground of the same thing. Come over here and do a similar thing over here than what I did over on that side. I'm just going to indicate some shapes of maybe some billboards or something. Just to make our city come alive. Nice. So I need to figure out what is going on with this tone here. What do you want to do with it? Is it too green? Should we bring it back to the blues? Kind of like how these are down here. Maybe I should worry about that later. I don't know. I think we should focus on this idea of some cars whizzing by. Eh? Alright, let me pull this horizon line off. So I was going to mention earlier, I think I did, that there's going to be an issue when I pull this tape off. And that issue is that now there's like a harsh line of demarcation between that street and this alley, and we don't want that. We want it to dissipate into it softly. So it tells me one of the easier moves would be, just to pull this line down a little bit to blend it that way. And let me get my smaller blending brush that I was using earlier. What did I do with it? I don't know what I did with my smaller blending brush that I was using earlier, but that's okay. I can use this one. I could pull off of it down this way, or I can drop my bristles on and run left to right, parallel with it, and that'll soften it up. But I need this color to invade these colors down here. Even though this is in the alleyway, I want to be able to see some of this in here. And yeah, by obliterating that transition, it really gives us a lot of depth moving backwards. So that is what we are going to do. Just pulling straight down. And obliterate the transfer from the foreground to the background here, from the alley to the main road. Look at your numbers. You guys are blowing up. I know, isn't it awesome? I was on stream earlier and I was saying I don't really know how it's happening. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but when I look at the analytics of my videos, it's all coming from the dumb little shorts that I made, and that's perfectly fine. If people like me for that, that's great. But either way, I haven't checked it in a minute, but we posted a week ago our video thanking everybody for helping us get to 200 subscribers, and before I logged on for this stream, it was already at like 4,000. I don't know what's going on. I want to wish and hope that it's like, the result of some kind of hard work paying off, but I don't know about that because this has just been goofiness this whole time. Is that hard work? I don't know. Does it matter how it pays off? If it finally does pay off, you know what I mean? Like, is that really an issue? Do we need to have that answer? I'm not writing a true Hollywood story about becoming famous for making silly tattoo videos. By adding this new background, the cityscape into night, it was helpful to bring her forward again, because again we were able to obliterate these edge lines here and lose the sharpness moving backwards into space of the end of that alley and where this city begins back here. So that makes me happy for sure. Though the coloring of this wall, the brownness of all of this does make a little bit less sense now that we see all the neons out here, but we got plenty of time. We can plug in a bunch of lights back here and make this all work. We abandoned the reference. Like, it feels like ages ago. There's no reference anymore. We're just making this up now as we go. So how do you know if you're done then? Well, it's pretty evident when we're done. When my heart is no longer in it, it's over. So that's when I'll be done with this painting and we'll move on to the next one. But there's definitely a level of sharp focus realism that I'm hoping to get to that I haven't achieved yet, and an amount of completion that I haven't felt yet. But also, there's some pretty keystone effects that I got to put in here that I haven't done yet. And those final details, it's like this. It's like when you build your house, you don't start with decorations, right? You have to pour a foundation, and then you have to build the structure, and then you got to drywall it, and then you got to seal, like sand down that drywall even to make sure it's perfectly smooth. Then you can paint it. Only then can you put in the decorations that really make it feel like your home, right? We've built our foundation a long time ago. We built our walls and smoothed it over a long time ago. Right now we're painting the interior of our house. And the very, very last step is going to be those decorations that are really going to send it through the stratosphere. I can't, for the life of me, guess how different this is from the process for like the old masters. I did study the ways of the samurai, so to speak. I didn't study the ways of the old masters, but I don't know. They weren't streaming, so I don't know. Jessica, I know how thrilled your daughter will be. Nice work. I love the channel. Thank you. She's sick this week, unfortunately. Sick in bed, sick as a dog. But you're gonna hear all about it. She is excited, and she wants nothing more than to abandon this project and make her own channel where she just plays her video games. So we might have to do a second channel just for that. Oh, this is feeling good, huh? This little cityscape. I know on the camera, the quality, it's kind of making some noise effects happen here, but IRL looking pretty good. Just stay tuned to my socials. If you like watching these painting videos, please jump on to my Instagram, where I post like better quality pictures at the end of our streams, so you can really see what's going on. Or if you know me personally and have my phone number, shoot me a text and I will literally text you a picture. And if you don't know my phone number and you're new here, I'm not going to give it to you. You're my digital friends. What a weird Patreon upgrade that would be. Here's my personal phone number. I'm already past my hour here, so I got to wrap up. I think next session we will really jump into... I need to let this dry first, what we just did here. But I think next session will really tie up what's going on back here, and potentially... I know I want to get like a sewer grate here with some smoke blowing out of it, so maybe we can work on that in our next session. I don't know. But I gotta hit these balconies for sure, again, because they haven't been touched in like 7 episodes. And then once this arm is dry, I can tie it in and make it look more like this one. And I could even bring it up to par with that one, right? And give it some tattoos and make it look a little bit more realistic. I think that's definitely in order. I want to get rid of some of these tones right now, just to sharpen up that elbow section of this forearm really quick. And then I need like a deeper saturated tone down here. And then again, a nice bright reflective line running up that arm will really separate her from the background. But I think that's going to do it for today. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I totally forgot I was going to do an indication of a car zipping by in the background. Let me do that. Let me see if I can do it in like 5 minutes or so. What I want to see is some headlights with some movement, and then blur out like the front of a car with some more movement. I think I can do all that in just a quick couple minutes. There's no real time restrictions on here, except I want to check on my kid. That's it. It's the only real reason that I'd be trying to get out of here really quick. Okay, so if there's a car driving this way and its headlight was like here, then I will, if it's zooming by, you know, then I'll blur it back here this way. So it has like a little bit of motion blur to it, you know? Introduce the bright of the headlamp. Oh, it'd be kind of cool to make this whole city like foggy. So basically what I'm doing is I'm dropping pigment and I'm pulling it backwards this way to blend it, to give it that motion blur. And then once I get that to a level that I'm happy with, I can go back in and put the bright light back on. I think that looks okay. So now I have to indicate the shapes of a car. And what color car should this be? I don't want it to be anything that's like complementary to the background that we got going. I want it to live in that universe. So let's just use like a deeper magenta pink color. Since that already exists back there, it can be like a reddish toned car. You know, not too terribly bright, just like myself. And just indicate shape of a hood going up into windshield. Body shape back here. Pull that backwards, make sure it's blurry. Get that motion blur thing going on. I need to give them a couple tires. Maybe just the front one. Might not even need to see the back. Oh shoot, got the wrong tone on there. Whoopsie. My bad, guys. My bad. I think there's just too much paint on the palette right now, so that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, we'll just indicate the shape of a car, work on it later, give a little bit of a windshield here. Maybe a little indication of some body, and then we can call it quits for the day. Yeah, There's just too many layers of paint back there. So let's go ahead and push this guy into oblivion by blending it out, and then we can add better details in the subsequent layers. Sound good? Sound good? Sound good? Cool, cool, cool. All right, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, guys. Hit me up on my socials. You'll be able to see our progress from today. As always, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you give it a like. If you really enjoyed it, I hope you give us a subscribe. Welcome to our new subscribers and our old ones. We couldn't have done it without you guys. So I will see you. Let me see, when am I going to be back on? Looks like I'll be back next time.